Crimes in Nigeria have evolved over time, and it appears that the more new techniques are developed to evade the long arm of the law, more tenacious efforts are birthed by the police to smash these tactics by criminals. Some recent trials include the parade of 56 suspected kidnappers, armed robbers and cattle rustlers in ZAMFARA, BIRNIN, GWARI along the KADUNA-ABUJA highway. Another arrest of 3 gun runners suspected to have been supplying weapons to gunmen and bandits was made in BENUE state. Yet another arrest of 7 minors and 13 other suspected cultists occurred in a raid by the police in Lagos state. Now, these are just a few arrests carried out in May 2018. It is obvious that some deliberate efforts have been put in place to make this new wave of trials happen. What is the drive behind this? And can Nigerians now sleep with their 2 eyes closed, like they say in local parlance? Well, this is our focus on Nigeria today. Thanks for joining us. I am Joy Useago. I'm being joined by the Force Public Relations Officer, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Jimoh Moshood. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, Nigerians.
Considering your current mode of operation, it is obvious that criminals are in trouble.
Definitely they are, because the Inspector General of Police IGP Ibrahim Putu Idris MPMNI have given a marching order to all Commissioner of Police and their supervising Assistant Inspector General of Police across the country to take the war to the criminal dens. You know, before now we work on crime prevention and control strategies and to ensure that we use effective detection for those crimes that cannot be prevented. There's no doubt that across the world there's no single society that is crime-free. Criminal and criminalities sort of mutate into different kind of form and modus operandi, and we have been rising up to the challenges, and that is why we've been able to rake in kidnappings. It's not as rampant as we have maybe 2-3 years ago. We've been on top of that game, and that led to so many successes for us. We have resharpened our strategies, and we are more proactive than what we are doing before. We are equally not averse to technology. We have been using technology to aid all our activities across the country, and he has commissioned a lot of technological centers which are spread across the country, and it is helping us because this is the era of using technology to resolve crime and criminality.
We'll get to the issue of technology pretty soon. Let's look at this arrests you've been making lately. I noticed that it has a national spread. I want you to talk about that. How are you coordinating this to have this arrest made in various states of the Federation?
Thank you so much. You know, every month the Inspector General of Police meet with all his Commissioner of Police and the Assistant Inspector General of Police, and equally the Deputy Inspector General of Police, to fine-tune and restructure the crime-fighting techniques of the force, which has been yielding positive result. We want people to know that crime does not have coloration. You don't tribalize crime. A criminal is a criminal, whether it's from your tribe, whether it's from another tribe, whether it's from your state, whether it's from another state. And that is the way we want people to continue to assist us in terms of fighting crime, because there's no doubt that we can't do it alone. And across the world, police alone don't resolve issues that leads to crime and criminality. People come in to give information, to give intelligence, and we have strengthened further our cultivations of those people who give us information, and we have done our best to ensure that we protect them, and more Nigerians are more confident in Nigerian police force, and they are giving more information. Like yesterday we did, I particularly paraded 56 suspects that were arrested between BENUE and GWARI in Kaduna State to ZAMFARA. Some were equally arrested in Niger, because you see these forests that span between Niger, Kaduna to ZAMFARA, even outside Nigeria, people, criminals have turned it into a hiding spot. And on the 2nd of May this year, the Inspector General of Police paid the operational visit to BIRNIN local government and assess the security need of the people there. He met with them, had a stakeholder meeting, and approved the creation of a new area command and 2 new divisional headquarters there. And in addition, he deployed more than 300 police personnel to go in there. What he did, which is bringing result now, is the deployment of operational unit, which comprises the IGP monitoring unit, the special tactical squad, the police special forces, including the personnel of Kaduna State Police Command, under the supervisions of the Kaduna State Commissioner of Police, because he has made it abundantly clear to our Commissioner of Police that any police detachment in your state, you are fully in charge, and that is their constitutional responsibility. And this responsibility is equally provided for in the Police Act and Regulation, and it has been giving us results. So every time we have issues of crime or even crisis, like when we have issue of crisis in Ife, we quickly intervene and we restore law and order within 2 days. Equally, when we have such disturbance in Kaduna South, we quickly intervene and restore law and order. The same thing with BENUE. The issue of elder and farmer classes have been dealt with early, and we're having the desired result. And that is why 3 days ago, I was in Makurdi myself to parade 11 suspects. Most of them are people that were involved in obtaining and selling firearms to the militias, the elders, and the bandits that have been attacking people in the villages there. So we are making signal progress, and want Nigerians to have confidence in the sources we are making, and know that we will not rest on our horse until we ensure that every nook and cranny of this country is safe for everybody. Because if you look at it, for business to thrive, for economic activities to go on, you have to rake in crimes. For you to even attract investors from abroad to come into the country to invest, and you have to have a situation of where you are able to control your crime and you are able to rake in this.
Well, I'm impressed that the police is aware of that, and they are doing all possible to ensure that there's peace in the country. I want us to still look, I like the fact that you've moved your operation from the center to the rural areas, because this is where we have most of these bandits operating lately, and people were beginning to worry. What is the security, what are the security forces doing in terms of being in these areas where these people operate? Now, I still want you to emphasize more on the rapport between communities and the police. I remember in the past when people would say, oh, they see a policeman, they're running away, and the police had to go on a campaign to say the police is your friend and all that. So how is this relationship with people now? Because from what you have said so far, it is obvious that members of the community are working with your officers, to give them information about what is happening in the community.
Thank you so much. The force moves a step further in ensuring that we demystify people not wanting to come to us. Police is your friend. It's not only a slogan, it's something that we practice like our end credit anytime we have an event with the public. And if I bring my personal experience to bear into the question that we have asked me, I started police work as a cadet, as an assistant superintendent of police after passing out from the police academy as a cadet. I started from the police post in the village, and I know how instrumental the people are towards our successes, and this is what we have been replicating to ensure that those people who have at the lower level, who wherever they are in the villages, because the Nigerian police force, I make bold to say, have the widest spread among all other security agencies in this country. You might see somebody that work in the safety or SO agency in strategic location where the camera or where the people can see them, who go to the interior. There's some villages in this country that doesn't see the presence of any other agency apart from the Nigerian police force, and you have to ensure law and order there, because the responsibility of ensuring that people live in peace and you remove the fear of crime in them is on your shoulder, is on your table. And our officers across the and that is why our concern is people driven, because when the Inspector General of Police came on board, IGP Bramputu Idris and PMNI, he came up with the doctrine of the Eminent Persons Forum. We have the PCRC, the Police Community Relation Committee, working in the localities with the police for a very long period of time now. But we felt the PCRC, they are doing their best, but there's a need to add new impetus into the idea of driving the community to be able to partake in policing them. Because if you don't do that, you can't achieve the desired result. People will know that you have to be a policeman first before we start policing you. So at the local level, the police DPOs, the police officer in charge of those outstation and outposts, have been internalizing with the people because that brings us to the reintroduction of the community policing strategy. The Inspector General of Police last year launched the community policing reintroduction of community policing initiative, because community policing has been foreign born. It's something that probably was imported. Our officers were sent for training abroad. Some of them were assembled in Nigeria. The trainer courses were organized for them as they started training other people. But this time around, the federal government of the country have decided that they are going to spearhead and they are going to continue to finance the community policing initiatives and other operations. So the Inspector General of Police relaunched it, and we have sent our officers out, because the priority of crime differ from community to community, from villages to villages. What you have as crime of concern, for example, in the FCT, may differ from what you have in maybe in GWARI or in Cross River or probably in Lagos. So, what you might think that is armed robbery that is a concern of the people, you might be wrong. So that is why when you sit with the people on a regular basis, you know what is their problem. How do you prioritize this? How do you inform them to ensure that you get the desired result in crime prevention? Because there's no doubt that across Nigeria we police by culture. The culture of the people determine how you police them. And more people are increasingly becoming aware that they have to be part of policing. Because we have departed from the era where the mothers rather at home will scare their children with police. That if you don't do this, I'll call police for you. So you instill the fear of police in them. As they grow up, they don't even know that police is where you can seek for help. So we have changed the narrative now that police is your friend. So we go to a lot of children forum where the children are meeting, where they have activities, to know about it. So that is helping us a lot. So like in the case of BENUE, people are volunteering information the more, because they know that is the way to go. We paraded 3 of the suspects among the 56 leaders of the gang, the killer groups. There's one of them that confessed openly to the press and the public that, look, there's an Nissan killed 3 innocent people. And when people gathered in the village to bury these innocent people, he went with his gang and killed additional 46 people. You know, this can be very, very barbaric. It's a terrible situation which shouldn't allow to happen. And this is because the community for some time have been sleeping without informing the police. So we have gone beyond just opening a police station and people coming in to report, to take the policing to the people, to let them know that this is their own police and they
so
have
now they've taken ownership, which is quite interesting. All right, you've said so much about the issue of the police working with the community. I want you to now stress a bit about information technology. This is an era where you cannot do without it. What are you doing in terms of ICT and the police that has moved what we know as business as usual to business unusual with you?
Thank you so much. I want to say that before and now the police have 6 departments, which consists the Department of Finance and Admin, Operation Department, Department of Supply and Logistics, Department of Training, Department of Research and Planning. To of late had a department of what we call the Force Criminal Intelligence and Criminal Investigation Department, to had of late the ICT department. So ICT is a department in the force, and we have a Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of that department. And we are, for the purpose of ensuring that operation continue to succeed, there are quite a number of things that I will not be able to reveal to you in the course of the discussion.
But in terms of training,
in terms of training,
do you do
yes, in terms of training and retraining, we are bringing stakeholders. The police itself have a very vibrant training department, and we are bringing stakeholders within and outside the country to impact more knowledge on modern day policing into our personnel. And we want people to know that that is what, because when you talk of foreign policy is the extension of your domestic policy. Whatever you are doing at home, we've been to foreign mission across the world, the UN mission, the AU mission, the ECWA mission, and what have you.
And how receptive are your people to this kinds of training?
Yes, they're very, the acceptance is wide, and the result is great, because for any any officer that want to give the best to the force must ensure that he undergo training and retraining.
And I hope it cuts across, not
yes,
just those
no, not only management team, it cuts across the lower. Even our focus is the personnel at the lower level, because those are the foot shoulder. Those are the people you meet on day-to-day basis. You hardly maybe see me outside television on public fora, but those people you meet on the street, when they flag you down, what is the courtesy for them to adopt in addressing you, and probably in getting to find one or two information from you. Probably they come in an operation and you are a local there. You'll be able to assist them. So those are the things that we are doing to be able to improve on the capacity of the force to get to the level that is desired in ensuring adequate security of life and property across the country.
All right, thank you, ACP Moshood. Let's pause for a break now. Our talk with the Force Public Relations Officer, Assistant Commissioner of Police Jimoh Moshood, continues in a moment.
Yes, what I can contribute is that they should go on as they are doing their job. So at least we people of the Nigerian will like the way they are arresting the robbers and the criminals, but don't let them go back as they are doing, because it's not my job, it's their job. They're the people to know where to locate the armed robbers or not to locate them. So for our own, it's just to focus on maybe when we see, we alert them that this is what we see, they should come to this side and come and observe. So that is it.
I think I should comment on this. They have to improve on their surveillance and the other aspect of policing, because patrol, they've done well, they've tried, but we cannot give it all to them 100%.
I try, but the best is not yet there. Yes, because there are still challenges, security challenges here and there.
Thanks for staying with us. We're taking a look at crime-fighting triumphs by the Nigerian police, and my guest is Jimoh Moshood, Assistant Commissioner of Police and Force Public Relations Officer. Thank you for staying with us so far.
Thank you for.
I'm sure you listened to the sound bites.
Yes, I've listened to.
What's your take about?
Thank you so much. I think the first person talked about not allowing criminal to go back. We want people to know that the criminal justice system, the police is indeed the executive, because everything starts from us. We are the first port of call if somebody is robbed, if somebody is violated, either sexually or otherwise, where some of the property is damaged and things like that. So we try to train our personnel not to be emotional, not to ensure that they act based on fact on the issue, and to ensure the perpetrator are apprehended and arrested. We also know that the Nigerians are good people. When you do good, they clap for you. If you do something that is not up to expectation, they equally criticize you, and that should be as a mirror, because the Nigerian police force as an organization is subject to public opinion.
And I hope you take constructive criticism.
Yes, of course we accept them, because we are subject to public opinion, and if you are subject to public opinion, you have to be mindful of your action and that of your personnel, and we are doing our best in this regard. So in the criminal justice system, we have other partners in this. The judiciary is there, the police is there, the judiciary is there, even the prison service. So it's a chain. So most times when people are taken to court and they are granted bail from court and they're coming back to the society, we are not always happy, because you recycle suspect. Because if the presiding, either the magistrate or the judge, see reason to sentence the suspect, will be happy. Actually, there is no commissioner of police or the inspector general of police that will be very happy with any police personnel, either the prosecutor or investigator, where you have a prima facie evidence against a suspect and you lose the case in court. And that is why, as of today, the Nigerian police force has the highest number of lawyers among all government agencies, either private or public sector. I stand to be corrected.
Now, coming quickly, now that you're talking about the criminal justice system, a lot of people have complained about the issue of delay in trials. How are you working with the judiciary to solve this problem, especially for suspects, so that they don't keep them waiting for too long?
Thank you so much. I think when matters are taken to court, police action terminate at the level matters are taken to court. But at different times, the Inspector General of Police have witnessed where he met with the member of the judiciary at different Nigerian level and impress it on them on the need for us to continue to work together and for them to see reason why some certain trials should be given speedy conclusion. Like, let's take the case of Evans, for example. Evans has kidnapped and killed several people, but for months now he has been on trial. And in other country, such kind of heinous crimes, such as of suspects have committed crime across not only Nigeria, even in Ghana and South Africa, is still waiting there to determine his fate. So this is not encouraging for our duties and responsibility, because somebody who felt, okay, even if I get caught in the process, I can stay 6 months, 10 months, 1 year undergoing trial. That is not good for anybody. But I have the belief that the police, the judiciary, and all other sectors that are involved in the criminal justice system are doing their best in this regard, because we'll be having the opportunity to meet together and to work out more strategy. But we feel cases of capital offenses such as kidnapping, murder, other should be given expeditious trial, so that people, when they know this is the consequences of action, they will refrain from carrying out such heinous crime. So we recycle suspects. When you arrest suspects, you take them to court. In the process, we know the magistrate or judge had the discretion to either deny or grant bail, and we don't have any power over that. But we want them to continue to know that it will be better for the society if anybody that have committed an offense is punished adequately in accordance with the law. Because I will take us a little back. One former justice of the Federation, I want to mention him, I've said it, that a thief is a thief, no matter what's the technicality. So we will not be happy where on technical ground people are allowed back into the society. People who have police are proved beyond reasonable that they're actually the person that have carried out this act. Because we dwell essentially on discrete investigation. And what is investigation? Investigation is a scientific approach to be able to prove that, to court that this is the person that have committed the offense. And it's painstaking. It consumes a lot of resources of the force. So we will not allow this to deter us. We'll continue to do our best to ensure that we put the bad guys behind the bar. Then on the issue of, they have commented that we are doing very well. We are not going to rest on our horse. We'll continue to do our best to ensure that we make Nigeria very safe. So there's no doubt that the current police management we're doing our best under the leadership of IGP Bramputu Idris MNI. Issue of massive kidnapping, rampant kidnapping have become a thing of the past. You know, we have the Gula children, we rescued them. The Evan was put behind bar, and other member of his gang are equally on trial. Vampire that have been ravaging the southeast and the south state was equally gunned down during the shootout by the personnel of the Nigerian police force, and some of his squad are equally being prosecuted. Quite a lot of achievement that we have recorded in crime fighting.
I know. Let me take you to another current issue, which is that of deficit in the ratio of policemen for Nigeria. People are still worried about that. I mean, the reports we have here are saying that currently we have 370,000 policemen to over 180 million Nigerians. That's huge.
The figure of 370,000. You know, when you look at the unit ratio of 1 policeman to 4 people, is a working ratio. Nothing stops us from having 2 to 3 police personnel to 4 people. Nothing, because it will make the work much more easier, and it will make us to have a grip, to have a firm control of of controlling and reducing crime. Because
so why the challenge?
The challenge has to do with issue of funding also. For every organization, there's no doubt that funding is an issue. It's not only with the Nigerian police, but we are very, very grateful to the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, because if you draw your mind back in 2016, 10,000 police personnel were recruited, and currently has approved another 6,000. From 2010 to the period of for a period of more than 5 years, 2010 to 2016, the lower rank of the personnel of the force have not been recruited, and this has created a gap, so to say. But we are doing our best to cover up this gap, to ensure that we don't have lapses as a result.
For lack of time, there's something I want you to address quickly. This issue of recruitment, you talk about the challenge with funding, and here you are recruiting more people. So how do you intend to cope? And then how do you intend to also take a look at the welfare of even those you already have in the system? Because of course a policeman that is not well taken care of cannot do his job properly.
Now you are very correct. The bottom line is that the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria has approved the funding equally of the recruitment exercise, and he has gone beyond that to put in some intervention funding towards achieving the best results from this recruit. But we are very hopeful that when the budget is passed, we have more money to be able to carry out our day-to-day activities. But for everybody to hear, the budgetary allocation is not enough to take care of funding of Nigerian police force. And that is why the 2 bill at the National Assembly, the Police Trust Fund Bill, which will enable, sponsored by Honorable Olamide Oni, who retires as Assistant Commissioner of Police from the force, will make more funding available to the force. Equally, the Police Development Fund Bill, which is sponsored by Senator Abu Ibrahim, who is the chairman of Senate Committee on Police Affairs. If these 2 bills are given a special passage and it is assented to by Mr. President, we are very, very confident that we'll have more funding to take care of our activities, because the Inspector General of Police are different from have assured the National Assembly and the generality of Nigeria that this fund will be properly managed, and this will ensure that we are able to do the best for the country at its desire of us.
All right, I must thank you, Jimoh Moshood, Assistant Commissioner of Police and Force Public Relations Officer, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
That's our last edition of Nigeria Today for the week. Join us again on Monday for something new. I am Joy Usago, thanking you on behalf of the crew.